I can set it up.
Just switch the camera from me. Just like that. Nah, it's okay. Just leave it like that. That's right. That's right. Just use it down. Good. Yes, we give thanks for life and a mighty life give, and we give thanks for all good things around us as sent from Zion above. So we praise for his divine love. Definitely we do give thanks for this special opportunity where definitely we are here with you once more, live on Livity. You know, I'm making it a habit. I know that these days things in St. Lucia in particular is not that bright when it comes to the whole realms of the wellness of the people, because of the whole realms of they say we have that dengue fever. We have a huge dengue fever outbreak. You know, and the thing about it is that a lot of people are falling sick, you know, and then, you know, it would be, sometimes you would feel like it's a joke that if someone tells you that a mosquito could have actually killed you, you might have thought that it was a joke. You might have thought, well, it's funny that someone say, well, a mosquito can kill you, you know. So, yeah, and then you might laugh and say, well, a mosquito can kill me. How can a mosquito kill me? I mean, if somebody tell you that a mosquito is going to kill you, you would feel that that person is joking, he's a joker. How can he tell me a mosquito is going to kill me? A mosquito is going to kill me? You know, so in St. Lucia, I mean, they say, well, the dengue fever specifically, which is basically a disease that is actually caused by, you know, the vector is the mosquito, meaning that the disease causing organism is the mosquito. The mosquito does literally bite up people and then give them a disease, and that disease is actually get them sick and give them fever, and they call it the dengue fever. So, I mean, that's what they say. I'm just telling you what they say. I'm not telling you that's what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what because remember, you know, everything is theory, you know. I mean, Einstein had the theory of relativity. I mean, there are plenty of theories in the world, and other theories that they have in the world. In these times that we are in right now, a lot of the theories have had to be changed. So you have many theories who have been adjusted. Even now, they still have plenty of different types of theories that they have when it comes to the whole realms of what makes up an atom and what makes up matter and antimatter. And all these things, they are just theories. And you have physicists and all type of people sitting down in big conferences and building up machines that cross borders from country to country, 1,000 kilometers. Imagine you have a machine, and the machine is 1,000 kilometers big, just to find out when you strike a proton or electron or a neutron, you know, with a laser beam, what actually happens. You know, billions and billions of dollars people spending these type of things. You know, yet still you have so much starving and people dying and countries and people in poverty, you know. And then people spend billions and billions and billions of dollars, you know, just trying to figure out exactly, right, what is it that when it comes to the realms of the whole realms of nature and creation, when it's very simple, you know. Life is whatever you see in life, that's what it is. You know, it's not like as if you see anything that is not there. Whatever you see in life, that's what it is. And you have people spending, there are what you would call jet planes, fighter jet planes, and they cost over $100 million. Like a fighter jet, if you're gonna buy a fighter jet to go and fight a war, one fighter jet alone would cost $100 million. And then you might have, right, another type of jet or helicopter that can bomb this or bomb that is gonna cost you another $70 million, or something might cost you $150 million, or this missile defense system might cost you another, you understand, 300-400 million dollars, right? So the amount of money that is spent into warfare and killing of people and these type of things, and yet still we have starvation and we have suffering and we have poverty, and people busy trying to find out then if you strike a proton with a laser beam and you excite it, or you excite an electron out of its valence shell, outer shell, in an atom, what happens? That's why they create atomic energy, and they create nuclear energy. That's what happens, and that is the whole thing, the splitting of the atom. Definitely going to have energy created. So they say that's the Big Bang. So they're working hard for a Big Bang all these days when they strike something, but you might really get a Big Bang. So they're trying to figure out the Big Bang theory, and they're building machines over 1,000 kilometers big, yet still a mosquito biting people down here and people dying. Mosquito biting people in Africa, and they dying with malaria. So at the end of the day, when it comes to the whole realms of what is really the objective of the world, what is the objective of creation of the people outside there, what are the objectives? What is it that they are working towards? Is it that people are working towards, specifically, what are you working towards? Are you working towards having the biggest bombs and guns and ammunition, or are you looking towards using technology for the upliftment and the betterment of mankind? So you mean to tell me that people still dying with cancer, and they have a tumor, and then the technology that we have right now, the technology that we have right now in the world, the technology we have right now, if that technology was used to fight cancer, long time, brethren, we're done with cancer already, because we have nanotechnology, to the extent that we could create tiny little machines that are microscopic little machines that could move through, microscopic, yeah, man, they have nanotechnology whereby they could create a machine that could crawl through your veins and your arteries. These things that do exist already, right? So no matter what people say, whatever they're saying, and these things there, our level of technology is to the extent that if you really want to take care of a tumor, right, you could turn a little machine inside of your structure and make it walk inside of your structure, and go and say, oh, this doesn't look right. Oh, I'm gonna take care of this, and go in and say, oh, that's a nerve here. I'm gonna move here. I want to affect this nerve here. Oh, that you the bad guy. Where you going to come here and come and take it out and cut it out, and then put it in other little machines that go through, and then they come out of that little hole through your skin, and they just dump everything out. Yeah. Of course. Come on. If I have $100 million to actually figure it out, or $5 billion to actually figure it out, and there's people that tell you that they've been on experiments for over 25 years. The amount of billions that they blast. And you see them when they sit down on stage, World Science Festival. Huh? Neutrons and protons and antimatter and both Higgs and quarks and leptons and all these different type of things. And then people still die with cancer. People still die with diabetes, and women still have fibroids and polycystic ovarian syndrome, and you still have infertility, and you still have, people getting traumatic experiences, and they cannot grow back a leg. If we were really serious, man, I'm sure that we would be growing legs in labs now. If you lose a leg, oh man, you lose a leg, when you lose a leg there, man, oh my goodness, man, come on. Okay, all right, I'm Jeff, this brother here just lost a leg, man. I'm gonna send the DNA sample, and I want you to build back a leg for him quickly. It's an emergency situation. So just build that leg there in about 10 minutes, and boom, you just go on that leg there. Cells come in there, you give them some high nutrient level things, and boom, 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 and this, as you call them, stem cells. I'm talking about stem cells, but they know all these things already. But they know all these things, of course. So they know about stem cells technology. Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm talking about stem cell technology. If it is that people really, that the world, the 100 million that they spend, right, just buying what you'd call an airplane to go and bomb somebody over here to carry a warhead, a nuclear warhead. You know, the jet planes is nuclear warheads they can carry. You know. So they have nukes and go and nuke a place, bomb them, and you know. Yeah. So if it is that the intention, if you could buy one plane, and there are some countries they have 100 planes in it, 200 planes in it, and one plane is $100 million. $200 million, man. This particular warplane, and you're telling me that you cannot have technology to actually completely eradicate disease and sickness. And if somebody lose a leg, you cannot grow a leg and put back on that leg for them. I mean, you're wasting time, brother. Come on. I mean, come on. So that's what I'm talking about. So we are living in a time where mosquitoes bite people and they die. You know, yet still we're supposed to be so technologically advanced. You know, so what is it that we are using our technology for? So it is very important that we understand that where we have to return, even right here in St. Lucia and the St. Lucian people, I mean, we have to return forward to the same things that we ran away from. The culture of the ancestors. You know, so we have 500 cases of dengue fever in St. Lucia now. 2 people die already. That's what I heard. I quote. Okay? And then now, we're talking about, well, I heard on the news that one person had died, but I got some information from my personal assistant who told me, well, Chris, boy, you know, another person died with dengue, so I heard that it's these 2. I really can't quote the source, but I heard it on HTS News that, I mean, a thing where a doctor or someone was talking, a chief, yeah, someone was speaking and they said that there was one death from the dengue fever, you know, but in St. Lucia, and remember, you know, in St. Vincent, the healthcare system implementing papaya leaves, you know, so they telling people, well, the doctors and the Ministry of Health, you know, they are already implementing the use of papaya leaf in the fighting of dengue fever. Right now, in St. Lucia, what I would add to the knowledge of the people is that one of the best things to break fever is the Lafletico, right? The Lafletico, which is the elderberry plant. That's the master in the breaking of the fever. Okay, alright, the papaya leaf is excellent. You could use that. But the grand master when it comes to the breaking of a fever is what you would call the elderberry plant. Okay, so the elderberry plant is a master, especially the flower for children, the white flower for the children specifically, that will actually break the fever and make sure that you as a man or as a woman specifically, you could recover, because enough times people die because I've personally gone for experiences where little children, and so they get febrile seizures, where people start to have seizures because the fever goes so high and the temperature is actually so high in the head that they begin to get seizures. You know, so we know that, I mean, all these different things there, and we've gone through a chikungunya, we've gone through Zika, we've gone through all these different types of so-called mosquito-borne diseases. You know, and the mosquitoes that we're talking about, most of these mosquitoes are not natural mosquitoes. Are you aware that in the Florida Keys, right now, as we speaking, in the Florida Keys, in the Florida Keys, and also on mainland Florida, in the United States of America, not the United States of Africa, I'm talking about the United States of America, that right now they have okayed the releasing of over 250 genetically modified species of genetically modified mosquitoes. Right, so they have plenty mosquitoes out there. I remember sometime about 2 years ago, they released some genetically modified mosquitoes in Brazil to help to combat Zika and dengue fever. And that's the same experiment that they are actually carrying on in the Florida Keys. They are releasing over 250 different species. It could be more, I know it's 250,000, you know. But I mean, even 250 Frankensteins. You know, because we're talking about Frankenstein mosquitoes, you know. They are releasing, okay, even if it might be more than 250 species. It could be 250,000. I'm just saying, but I would say minimum. The article I read, I know it's 250, so I said 250 different species of genetically modified mosquitoes, and they say that they are releasing, I think it was males only, that when they breed, when they as they born, they actually die, or they won't be able to breed, and they will just die because they genetically modify the mosquitoes. Frankenstein. Frankenstein, you know that monster they created in the lab and he walking around with that thing? Frankenstein. So they've created Frankenstein mosquitoes, meaning that they've gone into the lab and they have played with the genome of the mosquito and created Frankenstein mosquitoes, their own type of mosquitoes. And they put genes, they insert genes in the mosquito that when the male reproduce with the female, that they actually just automatically die. That's what they say. Well, I mean, to see whether it works or not. I mean, they say the proof is in the pudding. You know, it's in eating the pudding. You know, so when it comes to the whole reps of that, you must understand that that is the world that we are living in right now. So in St. Lucia, I mean, don't be surprised if you hear that they want to come and try and release some Frankenstein mosquitoes to kill the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Yeah, but they're doing it in the Florida Keys where they're releasing 250 species of GMO mosquitoes and talking about Frankensteins into the environment. So how do you know what's gonna happen? Are you so sure that, I mean, you know that even if something is GMO, science has shown that the same GMO foods and all them things there, after a period of time, the same GMO foods has become their original foods, right? If you leave them out there in nature, they actually become the original foods. Yeah. So the same, how you know then that the Frankenstein mosquitoes that you create, and you say, well, you want to combat dengue fever, and what you want to do now is to release genetically modified mosquitoes that you say that's going to be breeding with the female mosquitoes and then causing the death of the female mosquitoes and the young mosquitoes. And there is some sick kind of thing that them people are doing. Right? So obviously you're going to have disease and you're going to have sickness and you're going to have all type of things coming into being because you have different type of things outside there that people don't know about. It's big. I just search on the news, you're going to see it, man. Yeah, they did it about 2 years ago in Brazil. Now they say, well, and in the article they even quote, right, what they did in Brazil. When we could easily, there are plenty different things that we have right there in St. Lucia that you could easily use to actually combat dengue fever. Okay, first and foremost, be clean. Okay, that means that you have no old water puddles and things around your house and all. If you cut a coconut, make sure you split it open and put it upside down. You pass an empty all, so you stop the breeding of the mosquitoes. Just be cleaner, so you stop breeding of the mosquitoes by making sure that you don't have no water containers collecting water around the place, right? And then now, what I personally do, because I'm living in the mountain and the mountain naturally have water, right? So what I do, I always burn my neem leaves or my feuille de vent, what they call the anamu. So I always burn my anamu leaves. I mean, sometimes if you see me on Instagram, for my Instagram people, that's what you know. Sometimes you see me on Instagram and lighting up my incense. You know, the mosquito is a vampire. Mosquitoes are vampires. You know? They literally suck on your blood physically. The mosquito will go as a vampire and suck your blood. I mean, that's some kind of evil guy. Even the original mosquito is some kind of evil created creatures. And they say they created 250. Sometimes they're a little fried turn into a mosquito, you know. These criminals, them man, they're doing anything. Them man could have turned a little fly and ting and create a mosquito. And then they say they were going to kill some people over there. But they just create 250 different species of GMO mosquitoes they're releasing in the Florida Keys. I'm just telling you, as a scientist, I'm saying that if now they're creating thing and them mosquitoes, they are some real vampire, they'll come and they'll suck your blood. So physically, if they are vampires physically and they suck on your blood, parasites, right? And then they spit disease inside of you. Evil creatures, man. They'll suck on your blood and they'll spit disease inside of you. So in the spiritual realms of things also, there are some real evil kind of spirits they represent. Some evil kind of parasitic spirit that comes and sucks on you. Literally. They suck on your essence. They suck on you. And then they leave your spirit dry. And then they give you disease and they make you lose your soul. The spirit, yeah man. Parasitic evil spirits. So the mosquito, the vampire mosquito that sucks upon your blood, physically is also represent, because anything happening in the physical sense also happens in the spiritual sense. You're not just a physical being, you are also a spiritual being, you're also a vibrational being. The whole concept of the biggest experiments in physics is about, right now, is about matter and antimatter, the parallels. Right? So if you have a proton on that side that have a positive charge, you're supposed to have another a particle that's just like the proton. It operates the same way as a proton, but it has like a positive, a negative charge. So then, if you have an electron, you have another one on the opposite spectrum, polarity, whereby you have it exhibits a different charge than the electron, and they call it a different type of name. And if the neutron has a representative, right? If the neutron have a representative of basically whether it is like, neutrons is no charge, so they say the neutron skips from matter and antimatter, because they say, well, okay, the matter, the tangible world is also represented by an untangible world, a world you cannot touch, you cannot see, but it's supposed to cancel out and proof and vanish. So they say, boy, the physicists and them wondering then, how is it that you have matter and you have antimatter, and if it is that everything on the positive have the different polarity, when everything's supposed to cancel out everything else. So they're saying, why is it not cancelling out what this is not cancelling out? Why? Because they never even consider the God principle. They don't consider that the principle of the creator, right? The creator, that there is a creator, a supernatural energy, a superpower, right? A consciousness that directly guides and keeps and maintains that balance. That is, it's beyond comprehension, too high, and too low. So high you cannot get over it, so low you can't get under it, so wide you can't get around it. Oh, rock of my soul. I mean, that's how it is. It's a high vibes. So they're trying all type of things, all type of experiments, but still they don't want to inject the consciousness, the God spirit in the whole experiment. That's why they're always wrong, because, okay, are you aware that if a scientist is having an experiment and then he is in the room with the experiment, that there is a natural bias to the experiment, that his presence in the room is going to bias, it's going to affect the outcome of the experiment. Are you aware of that? Yeah, man. So that's why some experiments, when it is done, they have to be done remotely, whereby some other little space. That's why sometimes you see in these movies, you see they have this big glass case, and you have these creatures inside of there, and you have some scientists doing something, but they're all the way over there, doing whatever they're doing, right? But they're not, and they're watching on films, and they see what happened, but they're not there, because why? The bare presence affects the outcome of the experiment. Consciousness. So, in science, we also learn of the placebo effect. Right? The placebo effect. And the placebo effect now is the effect whereby they could just tell you that, boy, you're drinking some, you have a headache. They say, you got some, look at aspirin. Look at aspirin. Who's that, Look at aspirin. Look at aspirin. Look at that. And then you drink it. And then you say, why the headache going anyway? But they never give you an aspirin, And sometimes they give you a piece of white flour, and they put a little piece of thing in it, and you drink it. You drink the piece of white flour and a little piece of some type of thing in it, or some dirt, and they paint it white, and you drink it, bloop, and you think it's an aspirin, and boop, your headache gone. They call it the placebo effect. Yes, you took care of the headache, right? Thinking that you drank a pill to take care of the headache, but you never took a pill. All you taking is a piece of mud, and then the headache is gone. They call it the placebo effect. Consciousness. So consciousness does affect the outcome. So you're not just a physical being. You cannot just be quantumized. You cannot just have a quantity and a shape and a size and a weight. There are different levels of your existence that is measurable, and some immeasurable levels of your existence that you just have to just know that well, I just know certain things, and there are some things I don't even try to read a book about. I just know it, man. Oh yeah, man, that's true, man. It just clicks in my heavens. I just know that, man. That's it. I don't even have to nothing. I just know. I don't have to come and think and study that in nothing, because I am connected with the source. So you're supposed to just know. So, okay, so why you think so? Okay, so another man can study and invent some type of thing, and then you can't do it. So you're not connected to the source of knowledge, right? So you don't know what could happen, what could happen. Okay, all right. So definitely, I'm saying all this to say, that there are different polarities in life that even science, the highest scientists, and them in MIT and Oxford and Yale and them highest universities, they studying it. Yeah. And your consciousness, your aura can be measured. You understand? Yeah. Okay, and can be quantumized. Alright? Yeah. So things that people used to say before doesn't exist, and this and that, of course it exists. Right? And people know it. So when they say, well, a mosquito, a physical existence of that mosquito, that being is also reflected, there's a polarity to it, right? And there's a different level of existence to it. It's also a sign of, it's a parasite by nature, so it represents, right? Spiritually, also a spiritual parasite, a sucker of spiritual energy and strength and power from you as a person, as a human being, to the extent that you don't even care about your survival, it can kill you. Okay? So it sucks your blood, then it spits some disease inside of you. That's what you're dealing with. Okay? Alright? So in the realms of it, when I tell you, well, okay, alright, because healing is not just a physical healing. Healing is physical, spiritual, emotional, energy. So yes, you could go and you could do this and you could do that. But they have levels of healing that we have to overstand. And then you don't have to act silly and say, there are immeasurable things that they measure in places that the people that might be saying, my God, that's that you mad. The people that know what happened, they laugh and the man tells them, you laugh like stupid. You know what the man said, it's some high thing that they want. Now it's like the biggest and the toughest people in the world, where they study, you're laughing. Making themselves fool, right? When they don't read, they don't research, they don't uplift themselves, understanding that the concept of what healing is and what things are right now is different. It's on a higher level. So the old time thing that we used to do, we have to stop them things there, and we have to embrace the ancient things, right? And find a way to bring everything together, right? Bring it together. What our ancestors taught us, what we learned through science and technology, and make it happen for ourselves. Who's going to make it happen for you? Who's going to make it happen for you? You have to make it happen for yourself. Right? So you're going to sit down there and wait that somebody's going to come and give you a cure, right, for dengue fever, when we have all the cures right here. Come on, man. Right? We have everything right here. Right? And I know that for a fact that the great master in the breaking down of fever is the elderberry plant. Right? The elderberry plant, what they call the La Fredisio in St. Lucia. Especially for the children, you could use the white flower. Potent, excellent. And when the children have fever, right, the most important aspect of having a fever, is to control that temperature. Don't allow the temperature to go to the head. That's the most important thing. So when the child, Okay, so the child gets bitten by a vampire mosquito that suck their blood and spit in some evil spirit disease inside of them. Okay, alright, so you might be saying that the priest is taking it a bit overboard, but remember, my name is Priest Kailash, you know. So I didn't as I'm a priest. So I deliver this thing then. I'm not doc, you know. Don't call me doc when you see me. Doc, I'm not the doc. Right? You go, yeah, I'm Priest Kailash. Okay, Priest Honorable. I say, blessed Honorable, give thanks, my Lord. And Empress, Prince, and Princess, give thanks, Honorable. Yeah, Alright, so what I'm saying is that, right, as an individual, when you understand the full consciousness of that disease, and you understand that mosquito is coming from, and you have a child, that child that is bitten by this vampire mosquito that spit the pathogens inside of its blood, right? And then now, them GMOs, because remember now, they're creating Frankenstein mosquitoes now, you know, man. You have Frankensteins outside there, mosquitoes. I'm telling you, you have Frankenstein mosquitoes outside there. They just releasing over 250 species in the Florida Keys. 2 years ago, they released a portion of them in Brazil. You know, they say they're trying to combat dengue fever. And then we have all type of mosquito diseases that the Zika, chikungunya. But I think I had another one again some time ago. But I'm saying that when them things that bite your child, right, and your child start to get a fever, the most important thing to do now is to prevent the fever from going to the head of the child. You don't want the fever to get to the brain, or else the child will start to develop violent seizures. Right? Yeah, so the most important thing, you want to keep that head cool. Right? So what you do now, you take some ice cold water. Yeah, man, you take some ice cold water. I'm talking about cold, ice cold. You could take a piece of the child have fever and the fever is high. A vampire just bite the child and spit in some evil vibes that cause the child to get sick, you know, and you don't even know if it's one of the front outside there. When I'm saying that, I mean, you could say what I mean, you could just go on the media, CNN, you know, it's there, it's articles there of GMO mosquitoes, genetically modified organisms, mosquitoes that they create. They have it outside there in nature already. It's there a long time. Just go and check it out. Don't behave as if it's this kid are saying on national television. It's there. Go and read and think you'll find out for your own self. It's really about Canada, but I'm just telling you about it. Right? So I'm saying that to keep the head of the child cool. So you get ice cold water, freezing cold. You could even put the towel right in the freezer, right, and then rest it upon over the temple of the child, across the forehead of the child, and keep on dabbing it on top of it. And when the fever is that high, you know, within 30 seconds, that ice cold towel you put over the child's forehead already getting hot, you know. So you have to be ready. As it gets hot, you just take another ice cold towel again, that's dipping right there. The milk face towel dipping right in the ice cold bucket of water and put it back over the forehead of the child, because you want to keep the fever away from the brain of that child. Very important. Very, very important. Right? So when you could maintain that now, that fever, then you could work on the fever on the other parts of the physical structure. I'm saying that even if the doctor give you some drugs, right, you could still use that ancient principle that is there, right? Or give the child a cold bath. Sometimes you'll feel horrible, you know, man. You have to go under some cold water, and you're feeling like you have fever. Go under the cold water, because you need to bring down your physical structure at that temperature, or else your physical structure going to shut down. You know, just like you have an overheating engine, you blow the engine, that's it, brother. You need a whole overhaul. But sometimes when you blow the engine of your physical structure, that means that it's blown. You really cannot get an overhaul and get that engine outside there. Right? You know how it is. Right? So give thanks. Rastafari. I'm just giving it to you, you know, as it is, you know. You could just go and read and do your research and thing, and then you can have some intelligent conversation about what is happening. Because we need to have intelligent conversations, scientific conversations. You know, because at the end of the day, people just there and they just talking, and you have no scientific conversation. Let's see if we go invent one thing, man. Right? Let's say you could put two herbs together and invent something that would bring down a fever faster. People just talking. Let's have some scientific conversation. So I'm about, that's why I myself, enough things I prepare already, so even for the dengue fever, for the dengue I have magistrates and all these people that used to be taking my thing. Um, um, when Zika and chikungunya was not even usual, and they were overseas too, when all these things, Zika, chikungunya, and all them things that was going around the place, right? And they never get no Zika, never get no chikungunya, never get any things there. And especially the product called the Answer. There are a product called the Answer, ANSWER, the Answer. Okay? So you don't wait until the mosquito bite when you get sick. You could just get the Answer, and they have another one called the ICAN. The ICAN. Can you? Yes, I can. These two products there, yeah man, you could use them two products there. These two products there will actually help you profoundly to help to combat them kind of dengue fever, then mosquito biting you disease thing that they have outside there. So I'm telling you the most important thing when the mosquito don't bite you already, right, and your child getting sick and the fever is high there, up there, right, you take a cold, ice cold towel and you wrap it around the head of the child. And if it is that you have a baby, don't fall asleep when you and your baby have fever. Come on. So your baby have a fever, you're going to fall asleep. So the baby not well now, you're going to fall asleep. So much time you want to Juve or whatever place, or Christmas or kind of place, or you have your elder there, your grandmother or somebody, and they're not well and they have a fever. You're going to fall asleep on them and think. Don't make them fall asleep, and then you have to always be monitoring them. Because when they fall asleep, they won't get up. You know? They won't get up. So what you have to do, you have to be there with the child or the elder person. Make sure you're there, them keeping their fever, whoever it is, but keep the fever low. Keep the fever low. Guide them. Let them drink some water. If they're getting dehydrated, sip a little bit of water. Encourage them. Right? Support them. Right? To keep away the mosquitoes. So you keep the fever down. Then what you do now? Because I'm telling you, them mosquitoes some evil vampire, evil spirit, So what you do, you get your cold pot and your thing, and then every 5 o'clock before the 5:30 time hit, right, you get your cold pot. Right, you get your cold pot. You see them man they're spraying some, they say, okay, alright, so breeze get, but they just pass and they just fumigate the place with some whole kind of chemical. I see they just fumigate the chemical and to kill the mosquito. I'm sure if they put you in your room and then they fumigate it and then they close the doors and they leave you in the smoke, I wonder what's gonna happen to you. That same thing that does fumigate in the environment. I'm just asking you. I'm not telling you don't fumigate, it's your thing, brethren. Right? You could do whatever you want. Just telling you that. Whatever they just pass and fumigate the place. If they come in the studio there and then they just fumigate it and close the door, is everything gonna be alright if we inside there? Answer that question for your own self. Don't even answer it for me. I don't want to know your answer. Okay, alright. So I'm saying that you could fumigate your place with some real herbs that could chase the mosquitoes and also chase out the evil spirit that the mosquito spirit actually represents. I'm telling you, it's an evil spirit. It's a parasite, a blood-sucking spirit that spits in disease into your system and into your life. So, instead of using them synthetic chemical thing, you could just take your neem leaves. You take your cold pot, you put your coals, right? Make sure you have your coals or your coconut shells that blazing, right? And then you get some green neem leaves at 5:30. Don't make the sun set on because the parasites like to come in around that time. Creepers there. And they creeping on you at that time. They're going to creep on you. The parasites. So what you do now, you burn and you smoke out your place about when 5 o'clock comes, you start smoking out your place. You bring your cold pot and you get your neem bush because neem is a natural mosquito repellent. They have one oil, you can make an oil from the neem thing. You could just blend the neem leaf in coconut oil and just put it on a low heat and you could use it on your skin. And that could repel the mosquito. That's things I do already. And I used to have a neem oil that I used to sell as a mosquito repellent. Neem, the neem bush, I'm talking about the bush that grow around the place. I'm telling you, you could just take it, blend the neem into coconut oil, right? So you take some real cocoa, you blend the neem inside of it, it'll get green. Then you put it underneath a low heat low heat to take out the water, and the oil that you have remaining, right? You could use that oil to cream yours to oil up yourself to repel the mosquito. I'm telling you that. And you could also take a teaspoon of it and it actually help to combat mosquito-borne diseases. I'm laughing at you. I'm very serious, man. I'm very serious. I can see my big people on Instagram laughing. I'm so serious. You don't know. You don't know how serious I am. I'm telling you, you could fumigate your place. I'm telling you, the mosquitoes also represents an evil vibes. I'm telling you, it's parasitic and it spits disease inside of you. They're not even concerned about whether or not you're alive or whether or not you're dead. To kill you. Okay, alright, so we're gonna chase out the evil aspect of it. Yes, the neem is also a natural mosquito repellent. It's gonna repel the mosquitoes, but also the smoke. That's why they say that when God comes in the holies of holies, the priests and them have to come and incense of the place to chase out the evil spirit. Okay, so why when you go to church, the Catholic church, why you think that the priest has come with his little lancin and come and come on to chase out evil spirits and take me to people for a joke, man. Yeah, so you add some lancin into the incense that they have, sell it in the market, you go in the market and you add your little lancin. So you get your neem, you get your lancin, you get your feuille du vent. You know what they call feuille du vent? Feuille du vent. Okay? So you burn them till you smoke out all your rooms, man. Smoke out your rooms and smoke out your room. Take it from that side and you put it in that room and you put it in that room. And as you go through, you knock all the walls. Make sure all them mosquitoes are in the closet and everywhere fly out, and you close out all your windows. Alright? So as you smoking up, so if you're smoking up, remember, the smoke won't kill you, because it's neem, feuille du vent, and lancin. You could eat neem, you could eat feuille du vent, and the lancin still, you could still drink a lancin tea, never know that. Okay, alright. So all these things there now are things that are edible, that you could consume, but you are using it to chase out the mosquito in the physical aspect of mosquito as mosquito repellent, but also you are chasing out the spiritual representative of what that mosquito is, some kind of evil kind of spirit out of your space. So you're clearing your space, right? So you're going from room to room, and then you go in the closets and you shake up your clothes and make sure you smoke. You fill up the room with smoke and you close up your windows. So as the mosquitoes go out, you close out that room that's secure. You go next room, 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 and then you clear out your space. And you could even put your little coal pot out. When you're done, you could put your thing outside and make it burn out and smoke out the area. Okay, alright. So I'm telling you, okay, alright. If your child gets bitten by this vampire, right, and then you're getting sick and thing, right, you make sure you keep the fever low. So you deal with it in the head. Okay, you keep the fever low, especially in the head. So you use an ice, cold, ice, freezing ice, water, cold piece of towel, and you put over the temple across the forehead, from temple side to temple side. And as it's getting warm, you put the warm one in another ice cold water, and then you put the other ice cold one over the forehead. Don't give it a chance, and don't turn your head on the child. That you're not always observing that the heart is beating and that they awake. So you know how it is, man. The devil does glorify in death, but the Creator glorifies in life. He said rather the sinner come to repentance and perishing. So, you don't laugh at the downfall of your enemies or anybody. If something happens. But at the end of the day, you must always give thanks for life. You understand? And set out a positive energy outside there into the realms of the world. Because all of I and I is the same. We are one. Same. One God, one aim, one destiny. Unity is strength. Right? So, you keep the fever down, you smoke out your place, you empty out all water out of the place, and the master herb to break fever, right, is your Lafredisio, what they call the elderberry. That's the master herb, right? That they will break the fever to the extent that, right, that fever gone, have no fever. Okay? Alright, the elderberry plant. And then also the papaya leaf. Right, with the little green juice with it. Gentle and mild, very potent antibiotic. And then you use your feuille du vent. The feuille du vent root, you could drink the tea also. The feuille du leaf, you could drink the tea also. You could use your citronelle, what you call your fever bush, one of the things that good to combat fever. Right, you could bathe, you could take a fever bush bath, Okay, alright, you could take a bath with the fever bush. Alright, and drink some hot soup. Some hot soup, some green soup. So when the person have a fever and the hot and they give them some hot soup, hot soup. Hot soup, man. Hot soup. Hot soup. Like liquidy soup, not a bouillon, A soup. Some nice sapina soup. Hot, and then you make them blow on it and they drink it when it's hot. And what it does, it breaks the fever, because you want to break that fever, and you have to sweat to break that fever. And the fever is parasitic, just like the mosquito. So the fever is going to come on 4 o'clock. The sun starts going down, 5 o'clock. The sun starts coming down, fever starts to come down. Right there in your place. So the same times there you smoking up your place. You don't set up yourself already, so you don't wait until 4 o'clock come, 5 o'clock come, right? You are done already. Your child already drinking the elderberry. They don't drink the fever bush already, right? They don't take the nice little cold bath. Everything in place already. You waiting for it, So you don't wait until it come on you to actually start to do your things in a timely manner. Remember, healing not just a physical thing. Remember, there are polarities. There is matter and there is antimatter. There is conscious and there is subconsciousness, and there is unconsciousness, right? And there is tangible and intangible. There are seen and unseen. All right. I hope you hearing me whatever I'm saying. It might sound a bit odd to you that I'm telling you these things, but living at times where I have to tell you, I just have to tell you, and then it's up to you. Whatever you want to do with it, put it in your pipe and smoke it, right? And then deal with it, because you need to deal with your reality and take care of yourself, because nobody's going to take care of you but yourself. The thing just happening, because rain start to fall and thing and all type of thing happening in the world. So let us set up ourselves. You can't just sit down there and wait for somebody to fly in a spaceship and take care of us when we have all the herbs, everything around the place, that we could take care of ourselves. Right? And then you're waiting for somebody to want to tell you something. Right? Not me. So I'm telling you that we have the answer and the icon. Two of them things there, master. Alright? I'm not just saying that to advertise anyway. It doesn't come on my program and advertise things for you. I'm just telling you what I have to do with them things there. Right? Okay, and I'm telling you, I'm just telling you. You have two master products, icon and answer. Get them things there. Right? And use your Lafleur CO, use your feuille du vent, use your papaya leaf, right? And also smoke out your place. Smoke it out. Right? Sometimes you have to wake up in the night, or 3 o'clock and just smoke out. Okay? Or 2 o'clock and just smoke, do a little smoke and things, pass by your children and smoke out around by your children. You understand, which are them mosquitoes. And they're going to come and just suck on them like the vampires. Right? And they like black things. Anyway. Give thanks for life, right? So we have about 10 more minutes remaining live on up now. 7 more minutes remaining, about 5 more minutes. I don't know if they could open up the local lines if anybody want to ask a question. They could ask a question while I'm going through. Now, give thanks to all those of you on YouTube watching us live streaming, and also all those people here who are with us on Instagram. Give thanks, our Honorable Jomo888, Melo Chio. Give thanks, Honorable R7 Honorable. Give thanks, right? For the I also being here with us. Dana Tyson, blessed love. So name, what is the name of the other 2 herbs? Say name, and they have something called l'encens. L'encens, it's an incense, locally incense, and the animal plant, what they call the feuille du vent. Them things there is very important. You have a call? By the phone ring. Estrella Preta Alimentos, Majesty, Bendito Amor. You are well heard, please. We are taking notes. Give thanks. Bam, Fix Visual, Selassie, Soldier, give thanks. Jomo, you again. Alexandra A. Lewis, give thanks, give thanks. Plenty of you are there. I am Nick Paul, give thanks. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Rise up. Give thanks, my brethren. Marlon, give thanks. She's so lovely, give thanks. All the people who are there, Al Kabul and Carbon, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Mazone and give thanks, give thanks. I'm just telling you, give thanks. By your juice, give thanks, give thanks. Yes, caller, blessed. Honorable. Mm. Well, first of all, you have to be happy. And people with acid reflux, some people just stress a lot and quarrel. You know, and it's important that also you have a calm spirit, especially when you're approaching your food. That's why it's good to pray and then go and eat. Alright, so it's good to calm down yourself, try to be more thankful, more gracious. Stop babbling, babbling. If you know, because every patchouli. Patchouli is a very effective for acid reflux. Patchouli, eat on time. So if you're taking the patchouli, take it for 7 days, drink a cup of it every 3 hours. You take one in the morning, after 3 hours, take another one, after 3 hours, take another one, after 3 hours, take another one until you go into bed. Plenty of patchouli tea every single day. Right, for 7 days, consistently, and be happy. Stop stressing. Alright? Give thanks. Love. Yeah, man, love, man. Give thanks. You're welcome, my brother. Yeah. I'm very, when I tell you about them things there about, disease is not just physical, They have an emotional component to disease. Even breast cancer and all them things there. Fibroids, 80% of the women with fibroids are women who have been molested, who have been abused, who have gone through trauma. The great majority of the women with fibroids and if you have 10 sisters in a room, more than likely 8 of them have been traumatized. You think it's easier now women out there in society? Pretty like you all don't know what happened. Yes, fresh factory. Exactly, there's no intention for the people. Give thanks, Honorable Diamond Kush, percent of Chris. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks for all those of you on Instagram who have been with us. The calls we answer, you're not hearing it because we are live on TV also in St. Lucia. This is basically a simulcast. And those of you on YouTube, give thanks for being with us. Also, we'll be taking another call and then we'll actually just seal up. Yes, caller, bless you. What's that? Mm-hmm. Which last comment was that? Yeah, man. Yeah. Give thanks. Love my sister. And the sister just said that a lot of the women with the caller that just called you a while ago, they just said that a lot of the women that she just said she flat. And I'm very stressed, sisters, right? Many of our sisters with breast cancer, your first step is self-forgiveness. If you have fibroids or polycystic ovarian syndrome, forgive yourself. The first step is don't take blame for whatever trauma you've been through. Let go, right? Because that's going to wind up growing and growing into breast cancer. So you let go, you forgive, embrace yourself, love yourself, embrace your past. Show gratitude that you are a victor. Remember that it's 2 words, victor, victim. Victor, victim. Right? Victor, victim. So you could choose to be a victim, or you could choose to, or you could be a victor. And when you say you are a victor, you survive. Definitely puts you in a better mental space to actually be happy and heal yourself of any kind of disease whatsoever. So give thanks for life and almighty life giver. In St. Lucia again, the dengue fever is trying to think of the nation and thing. Remember, we have it under control. Just do what you have to do. Check yourself. I gave you some good info. In the caller. Yes, caller, blessed. Mm. Mm. Okay, give thanks, man. Love, man. I'll answer that. Yeah, we'll hang up the phone. Yeah, so the brother asking some concerning inflammation and stuff, and it's money, but our time is up, my brother. It's already 10 o'clock. We're supposed to stop at 10 o'clock already. Our time is up. What you could just WhatsApp the number 722-3660, 722-3660. Just WhatsApp the number 722-3660, and then I will actually see what I can do for you. And also, that Livity is open up in the city on Jeremy Street. So you just pass there and the attendant will assist you. We have all the things to actually make you more important. If you are impotent, and we have some what will make you important. So give thanks for all of the viewers for us tonight. Remember, take this dengue thing serious. Don't come and sleep on you and feel like it's a joke thing, and you have your little baby with fever and you're falling asleep. Monitor your baby. You don't have an elder around you with fever and you're joking and you're falling asleep. Monitor your elder. Right? And remember, cold cloth over the head. First thing, don't allow the fever to get to the brains. No. Cold, freezing cloth over the head. Chase out the mosquitoes. Fumigate with your neem, lansan, and feuille du vent. Right? Throw out all them water things around yourself. Things to break the fever. First, laugh like the CEO, what they call the elderberry, your papaya, your feuille du vent root, also your what they call the citronelle, your fever bush. All them things are very important. Love yourself, invest time in yourself. And remember that God is love, let us all love. Blessed love. Give thanks.